All right, guys, we got our first guest of the night on, BRYCE LOGAN, who has an upcoming fight April 14th. We spoke to the double champ already. We spoke to a couple guys on this card. We're trying to get everybody, up to date on all these great fighters on the card. Bryce, me and you have spoken before in the past. I wanted to get you on the show because we're excited that you're going to be, going in there against Jeremiah Denson. How have you been?
I'm good, man. Actually just moved down to Phoenix, Arizona about 3 months ago. I got here New Year's Eve. So about 3 months now I've been down here, really enjoying it. The weather's great.
Yeah, I saw that you're training along guys like, Renan, Barao, Ryan Bader, CB Dalloway. What's that experience like, man? That's got to be pretty neat, being around all the, elite guys.
Yeah, man, it's really cool. It kind of sunk in like about the first week that Barao was here. I got in and got to do some sparring with him, and like halfway I had to shake my head a little bit because I was just like, man, dude, like you're sparring with the world champ, a guy who for a long time was considered the pound for pound best fighter in the UFC. So it was kind of a holy shit moment for me, for lack of a better term, where I was just like, dang, man, it's kind of like, hey, chill out, bud. My dog's over here making a ruckus.
No, yeah, we love that. We love seeing the fighters at home. It's Sunday, you get to relax today. But like you said, training alongside people like Renan, Barao, Ryan Bader, it's only going to help you out for the better, and especially you being at Victory FC, which is kind of like the feeder league to the UFC. We've been seeing Dana scout out guys for a while now on there. So what does the win over Jeremiah Denson do for you? I mean, I see all these promos of you saying, be ready to see some fireworks. You're pumped up for this one. What is this?
Yeah, man. I mean, talking with me, I don't have any clear indication of where we're sitting or if we're on anybody's radar, but
yeah.
I have good faith in my management and they've just told me to keep going out there and doing my part, take care of my end of the deal, keep putting on exciting fights. And, I really love doing it for Victory too. They have an awesome setup and an awesome promotional team to take care of my end of the deal. They're going to get me where I need to go and where I feel like I belong.
Another thing, man, you're posting all these inspirational posts. I saw that not too long ago you posted something that said, don't let the small minds convince you that your dreams are too big. Now, this is something that we can all relate to in some way or another. People like me who, a broadcaster, a person like you who's a fighter. I feel like there are so many people out there that don't see our vision of where we actually see ourselves going to, and we fight and we work for it every day, just grinding and going for it, man. What keeps you so motivated day by day, day after day?
It's a whole multitude of things, but more so than looking for motivation, I'm just looking for consistency lately in my training. You're not going to feel the greatest every day, and you're not going to feel like a world beater every day, but you just got to show up and you got to keep putting in the time and putting in the hours and trust that all that work's gonna. And like you said, I come from a super small town in South Dakota, like 200 people, and I don't think the magnitude of what I'm trying to do is even set in for some of those people or for myself even sometimes. But it's like, I've been fighting for 8 years now. I just professional fight 3 years ago, and it feels like I've been doing this my whole life. But in the grand scheme of things, I have to just try and stay patient and realize that I'm still really, really young in this sport compared to a lot of people and experience-wise. So, no, it's just a lot of trust in the big picture and knowing that it's going to pay off someday, even though, most people would have given up by now. For me, it's just keep pushing, and eventually that payoff's going to come.
Yeah, for a lot of people, man, they just focus on that straight, narrow line. They go to school, they go to college, they get married, they settle down, and then that's their life. They take care of the kids. People like us that go, for a dream, some people can't fathom that. They don't want to take that risk. And there's so many people that are going to tell you no along the way. But, that kind of stuff like that kind of pumps me up to keep going as well. And being around people like Ryan Bader, man, and Renan, Barao, that's only got to boost your morale. But what are the coaches that you've been working with lately?
We actually did just go through a head coaching change as well. Barao's old coach, Jair Lorenzo, he was an understudy of the head coach at Nova Unal in Brazil. And we snagged him up. He kind of wanted to move his family to America and give them, a little chance at a better life. So he moved his wife and his 2 kids here, and we snagged him up and made him our head coach. And it's been nothing but positive ever since. I fought for Victory back in December, and I'd only been training under him for 3 weeks. he came out for a month to power, and it just happened to be that 3 weeks that I was down there getting ready for my fight. So that's the first time I got to meet him, and that was really kind of what pushed me over the edge and convinced me, like, okay, like this is where I need to be. This is the coach that kind of gets me and knows how to. His style really works with how I'm put together and how my fighting works, and I trained with him, and the combination I scored that knockout with was something we had specifically worked on like 2 weeks before, whether it was coincidence or not. But for me, that was just like, all right, something was saying something to me, like, man, we got to get down there. Just that change the angle on the takedown attempt, throw the knees, and then follow up with, it wasn't in that exact order, but that was stuff that we had drilled with him. And it was just, yeah, for me, it was like, okay, it was kind of an eye opener. Like, after 3 weeks, when you're seeing those kind of changes and that kind of evolution in your style and your game, that's kind of where you need to go.
That was a beautiful finish, by the way, that last one. Everyone was freaking out when you got that beautiful combination with that 1-2 dropping them right on the chin. So, man, there was something that I saw on your social media page, which I've always had an interest in, the Superstician Mountains. Now, for anybody out there that doesn't know what the Superstitian Mountains are, I mean, you kind of grew up out in that area. Can you kind of bring us up to speed on that kind of the tale of the Superstitian Mountains with the treasure?
Yeah, dude, to be 100% honest, I'm not even 100% sure on the exact story, so I don't even want to tell people wrong. But no, so I went out there for a hike. I had been here for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and I was like, dude, I just need to get out of the house. It was a Sunday, and I looked up the top 10 hikes in the Arizona Valley down here by Phoenix, and that was right up there, and it was about a 20-minute drive from my house. So I was like, went and checked it out. But now that you say something, there's some sort of tall tale or story about some treasure being lost up in the Superstition Mountains. I can't remember who the treasure belongs to or whatnot, but I didn't do too much exploring. I pretty much stuck to the trail. I was kind of boring.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact guy, but apparently he buried it somewhere in the mountain, and people go in there, they never see him again. People get obsessed with going out there, try to hunt for it. But the cool thing about the post was you got to the elevation of the clouds, which was kind of cool to see. What was that like, walking along the clouds?
That was crazy. It was because hardly any cloudy days here in Arizona to begin with. I've been down here for 3 months, and I've seen 2 or 3 days where it was overcast. So it was just a kind of a foggy morning, and I went out there and I started getting up, and I think the Flatiron there at the Superstition Mountains goes up to like 4,500 or 5,500 feet. I'm not sure which one, but I was about halfway up, and I was like, shit, I'm right here where the clouds are at. And they're just chilling. As kind of something you think about, but when you grow up in South Dakota, there's nothing that even resembles a mountain out there at all. It's completely flat. So that was nothing I ever got to see or experience. And yeah, I was walking up there, and I was like, shit, I'm right up here touching the clouds. They're right, walking right through them. It was crazy.
It was funny when you first called in here. I thought you were actually in an airplane. I was like, oh my God. I was like, how do you get the phone on the airplane? I was like, I thought they were taking that away or whatever. But no, man, I've been, following you guys down there. Big news coming out this week for Renan Bader.
If Verizon ever gets to that point, I'll let you know. I'll probably fly a little more often.
But I see that you guys down at the gym there, you guys like to do other things other than just work out or train for the fights. I saw that you guys are playing some paintball and stuff like that. Is that normal for you guys to do activities like that?
Oh yeah. We that's one thing that's really awesome about the team down here too. The transition was super smooth. My good buddy Jordan Larson, who's also from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, moved down here about 2 years ago. And yeah, man, the team, it's not an every week thing, but we'll stuff. They had a big paintball get together. I unfortunately had to go to work that day, but I don't miss out too often. But it's really nice being able to get together with the guys, and you have that trust with your teammates where I've been in some, not necessarily trained at for an extended period of time, but I've been in some gyms where, you don't have that same feel, and you don't have that trust that your training partner doesn't have your best interest in mind as well. And I feel like that's where a lot of injuries in the sport come from is, guys going to train at gyms and, through accident or not, guys, you know, there's no egos at our gym is I guess the best way for me to put it. Everybody don't mind losing a round, just like the next guy doesn't mind if he has an off round. He's not going to come back the next round and try and take your head off, you know, and everybody just has everybody else's well-being in mind at the same time. And we really try to push each other, you know, without having that ego and that competition in the room that's going to take it over the competition. But we know there's a fine line there, and nobody really goes over that line. So it makes us a better team when guys aren't having to pull out of fights and guys aren't getting hurt and being out for extended period of time. So
yeah, that's a frustrating thing about being a fighter and, you know, selling the tickets and having people to come to support you is that most of the time, or not most of the time, but sometimes the fighter that you're fighting isn't going to make weight or something happens. They fall out and no one gets the refunds and everyone gets pretty upset. You actually got a big following coming to see you. People are coming from pretty far away. You know, for everybody that's tuning in or driving out to see you, what can they expect when they you know, check you out April 14th on UFC Fight Pass?
Yeah, I like you said, I've got a really good group of friends and a solid core. You know, I don't even call them fans; they're my friends. I don't even put myself on that level or try and say that about me. If you're coming to support me and you're showing up at my fights, you're not a fan. You're one of my friends. You know, you're my family, and that's I feel like why I have such a good support. And it's really awesome, man. Every time I fight, it's almost a little homecoming for me. And a lot of my college football buddies will fly in from out of state, and it's just a good reason for everyone. And that makes the fight almost twice as exciting for me, as, you know, knowing I get to go in there and do what I train to do and what I really enjoy doing. But on top of that, you know, I've got good friends and good family that also support what I'm doing and make it a point to show up, and everybody really enjoys themselves when we all get together. And, you know, it's all your town and going and raising hell somewhere else where they have to put up with you and nobody's going to know who you are the next day and you're just out of town. So I'm sure they enjoy that too.
So before we let you go, is there anyone else on the card that you train with?
No, not on this card. I'm flying up here to Omaha. The last time in December, my old teammate Devin Turner was on the card. He trains back in Sioux Falls still, though. So I moved down here to Phoenix. I'll be the only one from Power coming up on this card.
Well, you guys got big things going down there at Power MMA and Fitness. I want to thank you so much for coming on Pure Evil MMA. What we like to do at this point in the interview, I hand the imaginary microphone over to you. If you have shout-outs, sponsors, or anything at all, something you want to say to your opponent, anything, the floor is all yours.
No, for sure, man. Appreciate it. Just got a few sponsors I want to throw a shout-out to. How Incorporated, Sioux Falls. You guys are always taking care of me. Outdoor Innovations in the Block. You've been there since I was an amateur fighter, you know, making sure I had equipment and making sure there's people coming to the fight. So I really appreciate what you guys do. Polished Designs, Juby here down in Phoenix. And then, of course, like I said earlier, all my friends that shows up to the fights, come out April 14th. Victory Fighting Championships at the Baxter Arena. You will not be disappointed, I promise.
Thank you so much, Bryce, and we wish you best of skill come April 14th. Thanks for coming on Pure Evil MMA.
Take it easy, man.